Hi you guys, so today I wanted to hop on here and do a comparison. Now you guys know for the longest time I have been a die-hard Kat Von D tattoo liner Intruber fan. That is my black liquid liner of choice. I actually hate felt tip liners. I know some people love them, some people can use them very easily. For me, I cannot, no matter what I do, get a sharp enough, clean enough line for my taste with a felt tip liner. I've tried and tried and tried and it just doesn't work for me. It could be because my eyes are hooded and kind of tricky to deal with, I'm not sure, but I love brush tip liners. So I've been using the Kat Von D tattoo liner Intruber for a very, very long time. Two cons with this, it's very expensive and it runs out very quickly, unfortunately. I've gone through a ton of these. So I wanted to try a new liner. I was looking and looking and looking, didn't see anything I liked. So many liners are felt tip, it's actually difficult to find a nice brush tip. Then I realized the NYX Epic Ink Liner, I thought it was a felt tip, so I never bought it. I looked closer and it's a brush tip. So I've also been trying this one out for a few weeks and there are some differences between the two. Let me zoom you guys in and I'll point out some of the details. All right, so we're up close again. Oh, I did want to point out, because I know someone's going to notice it, I have a chip right there in that tooth. My tooth has had a weak spot there for a while, and unfortunately it finally chipped out the other night. I don't know whether I was grinding my teeth in my sleep or what, but I have very weak teeth genetically. Both my mother and my father have weak teeth. Unfortunately, the dentist said there was nothing I can do about it. I take very, very good care of my teeth. He basically just said, I've got to deal with problems as they come up, but yeah, they just crumble. They're weak, and it's not something that's fun to deal with, but I do have a dentist appointment on Monday, and hopefully he can get that chip fixed then, and hopefully he doesn't find too many more problems that have to be dealt with. So anyway, now that that's out of the way, the Kat Von D tattoo liner Intruber, it is a brush tip, it is waterproof, and in a full size you get 0.019 fluid ounces. So that's almost 0.02 fluid ounces. And then the NYX Epic Ink Liner, it is also waterproof, and you get, let me see, 0.03 fluid ounces. So you get a smidge of a fluid ounce more. They're very, very similar in size. Packaging, the Kat Von D tattoo liner is not a matte, but I would say more of like a satiny finish, and it has her tattooed rose pattern on it with her signature stars. And then the NYX liner has just a gloss packaging, has the name and then two straight lines. These are both brush tips. They both have very nice caps. Here's the brush tip on the Kat Von D tattoo liner, and I'm going to do a thick line. The tattoo liner, it's very, very black, very pigmented. You can also get very, very thin lines with this. I'm doing this like backwards from how I normally do things, so there we go. There's a better fine line for you guys. So that's the Kat Von D tattoo liner. Now this liner doesn't feather very much at all. It feathers a tiny, tiny bit into the lines of your skin, but nothing that is noticeable at all when it's on your eye. In comparison, this is the Epic Ink Liner from NYX. Again, a very, very fine brush tip. This can also create a nice thick line. Again, very black, very opaque. And it can also create a very, very thin line as well. All right, guys, here's a very, very thin line that the Epic Ink Liner can create. Here's my problem though. If you are doing this on dry skin, do you see that feathering where it went into the lines of the skin? That's a problem. If you're using this on very, very dry eyelids, if you have a ton of powder eyeshadow on, or if your skin has just a lot of lines in it, this does tend to feather. Now, if you're very gentle with it, it doesn't seem to feather as much. If you push down too hard and you get too much ink into that brush tip, it feathers like a word I don't want to say on YouTube, or otherwise I'm going to get demonetized. So it feathers very, very badly. All right, now in comparison, guys, up here, I did the exact same thing, same pressure with Kat Von D, and it does not feather. So my biggest issue is you have to be very careful with the NYX Epic Ink Liner. In fact, I suggest before you go to use it, wipe off any excess on a tissue, any excess on the brush on a tissue, and you're going to have better luck. Don't push too hard when you're using it. And I wouldn't store it upside down. I would store it this way because something in the release mechanism in here allows too much of the product to come out if you're too rough with it. And I think it's because this formula is just a tiny, tiny bit more watery than the Kat Von D. Now, both of these look beautiful on the eyes. I am going to show you in just a minute. They are nearly identical in wear. Now, the Kat Von D does last a little bit longer. I can wear the Kat Von D overnight and keep my wing. I can't wear the NYX Epic Ink Liner and keep my wing, but they will both stay on my lids overnight. However, the thing is, the Kat Von D is generally easier to apply because it doesn't have that feathering issue. You can just grab this out of your drawer, throw it on, and you're good to go. The Epic Ink Liner, you have to make sure that there's not too much ink pooled in that brush tip, or otherwise you're gonna have a mess on your hands. However, the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner is right around, oh, I can't remember the exact price off the top of my head. I want to say it's between $18 and $22. I will put the exact price down below, or I'll pop it up on the screen here. And the Epic Ink Liner, I want to say is right around $10. So roughly half the price. So if you're willing to be more patient and slightly more careful with your product, I would say definitely go with the Epic Ink Liner. If you don't have a lot of time to screw around with your products and you need them to work without having to be more gentle, then I go with the Tattoo Liner. And of course, budget can be taken into consideration. I like both of them, so I can't say one's better than the other. I can say what the pros and cons are though. So I'm going to go ahead and apply both to my eyes. I'm going to do the Kat Von D on this side and the NYX on this side. All I have on my eyes right now is just some eyeshadow up here, and I have a light cream eyeshadow on my lids. Both of these work really, really well over shimmer shadows, over glitter shadows. They work really well at covering them up. Since the Kat Von D is a drier formula though, it occasionally takes 2 coats to get that shimmer fully covered. I have no mascara on or anything like that yet either. You can barely see my eyelashes, so yeah, I definitely don't have mascara on. But anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get on with the Kat Von D. There we go. Now, I did a much lower wing than most people do. A lot of people bring their wings up higher. I have hooded eyes, so I do have to do lower wings. But that's a very sharp wing and wound very easily, very cleanly, no fuss, and absolutely no feathering. Now, on this side, I'm going to do the NYX. I am going to make sure that brush tip does not have too much product on it. Hopefully that works. All right, guys, can you see that feathering already? See, that's my problem with this liner. Now, it did not do this when I first purchased it. It did not feather like this, so I don't know whether I got a dud. I haven't heard of other people mentioning issues with this feathering before, but yeah, you can see it, it's pretty bad. This is, again, fairly easy to create a wing with. However, again, that feathering is just, it doesn't make as clean a line. And that's killing me because the formula is really, really good. All right, guys, so I'm back. I got my lid cleaned off and I reapplied the cream eyeshadow I had on. I'm just using milk chocolate, or not milk chocolate, white chocolate from the Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette. And I've got our Epic Ink Liner. It's been sitting with the cap off for about 2 minutes. and I'm going to go ahead and see if we can redo this wing without it feathering. Alright guys, so good news, we have much better luck this time. Go ahead and peek at this wing. Of course, it's not perfect. I made a little bobble right there. But if you look on that inner corner, there's a tiny smidgen of feathering. But the good news is not nearly as bad as before. So that's another tip I can give you. If you go with the NYX Epic Ink Liner, leave it sit out for a minute. If you find that it's feathering, you can even test it on the back of your hand like I've clearly been doing. Test it, and if it's feathering, go ahead and let it sit for a minute or two. I won't leave the cap off for like 15 minutes, but 2 to 3 minutes, let it dry out a bit, and then go ahead and do your wing, and you will have much better results. So you can definitely see these are both very black. I would say that the Kat Von D is slightly more matte than the NYX. They are both equal in opacity. The Kat Von D is thicker than the NYX formula, at least in the one I got, and much less likely to feather, but again, also twice the price. So decision is up to you guys. I like both of them. They do have their pros and cons. Biggest con for the Kat Von D is the price. Biggest con for the Epic Ink Liner is the feathering, but they are both very, very black. They both go on very, very nicely, and you can get a very sharp, clean wing with both of them. So that is it for my comparison. I hope that you guys enjoy this little series I'm doing, taking a high-end product and a drugstore product, using both of them for several weeks, and then coming on here doing a comparison and telling you guys the pros and cons I found with each product, rather than just going, oh yeah, this is a dupe, this isn't a dupe, because very, very rarely is there an identical dupe. To me, dupe is duplicate. It means there's no cons or no differences between the products, and very rarely do I find that there's no differences, whether it be a good difference or a bad difference between a drugstore and a high-end product. Sometimes the drugstore is better, sometimes the high-end's better. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also keep up with me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. I am pretty much everywhere. And if you have any questions, comments, or just want to say hi, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye.